Ms. Jones, the Honourable Member for Dufferin-Caledon.
Thank you, Speaker. I move second reading of Bill 83, an act to prevent picketing of supportive group living residents.
Ms. Jones moves second reading of Bill 83, an act to prevent picketing of supported group living residences. Pursuant to Standing Order 98, the member has 12 minutes for her presentation. Ms. Jones.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm pleased today to speak on Bill 83, an issue that I feel strongly about, and I know from speaking to a number of members in this House, I share that view with many others. I first want to take the opportunity to thank some of the many organizations and individuals for their support for this bill. From Community Living Ontario Executive Keith Powell, Rosalind Werner-Arce, and Gordon Kyle, who actually gave me the idea in the first place, from the People First organization, Corey Earle, and from the Respect Our Homes Coalition, Melissa Abrams and Kim Gavin. Those three individuals did an incredible job this morning at their press conference, and I thank you for that. I also need to thank the many organizations that came down to Queen's Park today to support this bill, and I'm going to go fairly quickly because there's quite a list. Community Living Ontario, Community Living Quinte West, Kawartha Lakes, Walkerton and District, Chatham-Kent, London, Campbellford, Brighton, Prince Edward County, Durham North, Tillsonburg, Welland-Pelham, North Halton, Brampton-Caledon. I also want to thank the individuals and organizations from all over Ontario who've sent me letters of support and I know have had conversations with their own MPPs to educate them on the importance of this bill. During the summer of 2007, a strike was happening across southwestern Ontario. That summer, staff working at 7 of supportive living residents agencies were part of a labour dispute that continued for 9 weeks. During this time, homes for individuals with intellectual disabilities were picketed by workers. Supportive individuals felt trapped inside their homes, and some were forced to leave altogether. Many residential neighbourhoods were disrupted by picket lines, porta potties, megaphones, and whistles 24 hours a day. Shouting occurred all hours of the day and night, disturbing the neighbourhoods and scaring the residents. Community Living and other organizations that support individuals with intellectual disabilities have worked very hard to incorporate supportive living residents into our neighbourhoods. Gone are the days of institutions for those with intellectual disabilities. As a society, we understand it's important for us to live together in our homes, in a community close to family and friends. Neighbourhoods should not have to fear that having a supportive living residence in their neighbourhood will mean during times of labour unrest that they will be subjected to porta potties occupying their streets, picket lining obstructing traffic, and noise at all hours of the day and night. Imagine this from the perspective of someone with an intellectual disability. You live in a supportive living residence with your friends. You have a part-time job and family that comes often to visit. You enjoy the company of your support workers and have a wonderful relationship with them. They help take you to work, on day trips, and play games with you at the end of the day. What happens when the next morning you wake up and these same people that you trust are outside of your home with picket signs, shouting into megaphones? And when the strike is over, everyone is expected to go back to normal. They're your friend again. But it's not that easy, Speaker. This is their home, and they did not feel safe or secure in their home, and it was a violation of their human rights. The book Behind Closed Curtains, which is a record of experiences from individuals whose homes were picketed in Ontario in 2007, have many quotes describing firsthand the feelings and emotions during the 9-week strike. Some quotes were, "Picketing centred us out. Everyone now knows where we live. We were supposed to be fitting in. I ask you, how is this helpful? What about our confidentiality? Hard to discuss my feelings of what it feels like to cancel your life. I had to move. I was trapped in my own home." During the summer of 2008, I had the opportunity to travel the province with the Standing Committee on Social Policy for Bill 77, the Services for Persons with Developmental Disabilities Act. It was actually my first bill as critic for Community and Social Services. The strikes of 2007 were still very fresh in the minds of community living organizations across the province, and they came to the committee with suggestions on how to make this legislation stronger. The one thing that was clear throughout committee deputations was that these organizations did not want to see the actions taken in 07 to be repeated if there were going to be future labour disruptions. A representative from Community Living Tillsonburg said during the committee hearings, the rightful entitlement to enjoy the peace, tranquility and security of their homes as deserved by an Ontarian was taken away. Their relationships with their neighbours were affected significantly. We believe that no other citizens in Ontario are subject to have strikes occur at their home, whether they are owners or tenants. People who are supported by community living need to have their rights respected as well. As I mentioned earlier, since this bill was introduced, I have received widespread support from individuals and organizations across the province. I want to share with you some letters that I've received. From Larry Leonard, who's the president of Community Living Durham North. We are not calling into question Labour's right to strike or its right to lawfully picket our administration building or other public buildings, but we cannot accept that vulnerable people should be subjected to aggressive picketing in their homes by their own support staff. From David Spencer at Community Living Manitoulin, you would not want striking workers picketing in front of your house, so please demonstrate the same respect to people with intellectual disabilities and support Bill 83. From Kira, a support worker in the Central West region, to the member from Northumberland Quinte West, I support Bill 83. Individuals that live in supportive homes deserve to live in peace and quiet, without the threat of picketing on their front yards. Imagine the impression that this practice makes on the neighbourhoods and businesses in the neighbourhood. And I think Mary Munnick, from the president of Community Living Simcoe, South Simcoe, put it very well when she said, if the picketing of group homes continues to be allowed, it may very well set back much of the work done by agencies, parents, community advocates, and the government itself that was intended to meaningfully integrate people with disabilities into our communities. The not in my backyard mentality is still visible in many communities. From Bob Butella, Community Living Guelph Wellington, if they were taken out of their home for a medical appointment or other activity, they were often harassed by striking workers, despite having established picket line protocols that were put in place to prevent these actions. This is an unfortunate and preventable event that, in effect, undermined years of community building by these agencies. Vulnerable people deserve better. From Rick Tutt, Community Living Lanark, this issue is not about the right to strike. It is about a person's right to enjoy his or her home and not to be subject to the disruption of picketers demonstrating in front of their homes, causing undue disruption and pain. From Cheryl Chandler, Community Living Dufferin, how can we say on one hand your worker must respect you and on the other allow workers to strike in front of people's homes, dictating to them when they can leave the property? Does that make sense? You would think that picketing in front of someone's home would simply be against the law. I want to read to you an email I received after the introduction of this bill. They've asked that their names be held in confidence, but it is from Kimberly, a support worker, and her friend. JT is nearing 65 and has had a life that many others would not have survived, starting at the age of 5 when she was institutionalized for about 30 to 35 years. Her family has all since passed and she is alone. The only people in her life are paid to be there. I once was one of those people, approximately 15 years ago, and I am now proud to be able to call JT my friend. Each day, JT struggles to feel safe in the world. It's complicated and not overly welcoming to her. She's confused often by the rhythms of her day and the expectations of others that she has little control over. She relies on her staff for almost everything, all her meals, her meds, to keep those around her from hurting her, to protect her from the world on the other side of her front door, for her health and for the place in the world. I believe JT's support staff care deeply for her and have a sense of obligation to her. but I also know that her needs will come second to theirs when push comes to shove. I am troubled by the fact that her right to a peaceful home currently comes after the staff's right to picket and go on strike. JT is a tiny 65-year-old woman with frail health who has lived a life of abuse, neglect, profound loneliness, and whose rights have always come after others. She needs us to recognize that and to say no. JT needs us to say no so that she can hold on to the only thing in her life that she can trust, that her staff are people trying to create a place where she can feel safe. JT has little to nothing in her life like that. The view from her front window needs to be protected from a battle on her driveway between the people that she believes are there to keep her safe. We promised her that. We promised her deceased parents that they could trust us, that she should move into community and she would be safe. Our government promised her that too. I think Kimberly said it very well. I want to encourage everyone to visit a website called www.respectourhomes.ca. If you need a compelling argument as to why you should support this bill, the website by the Respect Our Homes Coalition lays it out admirably. In one instance, a picketer tried to provoke a resident into having a seizure by flashing a red laser into their room. This disturbing act was caught on video and can be seen on the site. The video describes one picketer trying to lure residents out with a box of chocolates. Speaker, I could go on, but the bottom line is we have an opportunity with Bill 83 to say you have the right to strike, just don't do it in front of people's homes, in front of supportive living residents. And I urge people to actually take the high road. Think about what we're trying to do when we use words like inclusion and we say and talk about how we want to shut down institutions. We've done that, but you also have to protect people when they're in the community. And I hope that we can set the partisanship aside for a few hours this afternoon and actually get this to committee. Thank you.
Thank you.